It's the week leading up to the 22nd of April, 2025. You're refreshing Elder Scrolls subreddits, checking the Steam search engine. Rumours, speculation and leaks are flying everywhere. Apparently, Todd Howard has done it again. He's re-released Skyrim. Wait, Oblivion? What the fuck?
I was born 87 years ago. For 65 years, I've ruled as Tamriel's emperor. But for all these years, I've never been the ruler of my own dreams.
Welcome to Oblivion Remastered. This video is going to sort of serve as a first impressions for me. I'm a long-time Skyrim player, I love Morrowind, but Oblivion has always sort of felt like the weird middle child to me. There's some sort of intangible something that it never quite made it work or feel as smooth as those other two games. Here's hoping, with the remaster, Bethesda have delivered something truly special. Okay, we've got what appears to be young James May as our default Imperial. This is interesting. As with any good Bethesda game, Oblivion Remaster of course starts with you as a prisoner in the character creation screen, and already we can begin to see several changes that they have made. First off, male and female bonuses have been changed to be places of origin for the various races. For example, Imperials have Nibene and Colovia, Nords have East and West, and Khajiit have Anakina or Palatine. Additionally, apart from, of course, Uriel at the start, we get our first proper look at what the characters in this game look like. And straight off the bat, they look amazing. The difference in fidelity is incredible compared to the potato faces of 2006 to what truly feels like a modern 2020s AAA gaming release. However, this is still a Bethesda game, and as such, it would not come without a few visual glitches and bugs and some otherwise interesting behaviour. On top of this, there has been feedback about the difficulty slider. There seems to be a massive jump in difficulty once you go above Adept. And the lockpicking, something which I admittedly was not very good at in original Oblivion, appears to be much, much harder for some reason. I'm not sure if this was by design or not, but given that the original system has felt fairly unintuitive to me and many others, the fact that they seem to have made it more difficult on top of that does make lockpicking a chore rather than a minigame. Hopefully there will be some sort of patch released to fix some of these issues. Definitely the difficulty slider feels like something that Bethesda would want to make changes on, and if by some miracle one of them is watching this, fixing some of the bugs from nearly 20 years ago would probably be appreciated. But enough of that, let's get back to talking about the delicious graphics that this game provides. Stepping out of the Imperial City, we get our first impressions, and it is stunning. The game looks incredible, the lighting is glorious. Having heard some discourse about this, I'm of the opinion that the world does still keep enough of the brightness. There were complaints when some of the leaks were found about the game looking too brown. Compare it to Skyrim, it still definitely has its Imperial saturation and brightness. It's just a bit less over the top with the bloom, and overall looks amazing. However, a lot of people have struggled to play this game. It's been verified for Stream Deck, and apparently the experience there has been horrible. Personally, I had pretty much all of my graphics settings left as they were from booting up, which is I don't know, 2 ticks on the slider, whatever that means. Some things I did have to turn down in certain areas, and I did note some lag spikes coming into new areas, especially places like Kvatch with a lot of NPCs and quite intense graphics from the Oblivion gate. A gate to Oblivion? What is that? Oh god. Okay. Eesh. Overall, it was a fine experience for me. I would definitely check your specs. Not every PC is going to be able to run this, unfortunately. Mine is fairly middle of the road. I'll be putting up a screenshot here of my stuff. I don't really know what any of it means, but if you do, you're welcome to compare and contrast. My PC's fairly middle of the road. It's nothing insane. It's not a potato, you know? But it's not NASA either. So your results may vary, but you certainly don't need top of the line either. And if you do want to see it for yourself before getting the game, I streamed it over on my Twitch the day it was released and will be doing so again in the future. The link to that is down in the description. While we're doing the shameless plugs, all the usual make YouTube like me buttons are down below, and there will be much more Oblivion and other Elder Scrolls content on the way. Back to you, adoring fan.
Wow, you're the Grand Champion. I saw your fight against the Grey Prince. You're the best. Can I follow you around? I won't get in the way.
Oh my god. He sure is something. Very quickly, while we are on the topic of the channel, if this is your first video of mine, hello, I'm Duke. I create Elder Scrolls content. For a long time I was an Elder Scrolls Legends creator. I can't really do that anymore. But I have had some Skyrim projects as well as an Oblivion and Arena project in the works for a little while now. But given the release of this game, this was the priority to get out. However, there is more fresh content on the way very, very shortly. In case you couldn't tell, I am by no means a game reviewer, but I did want to get my impressions out and give a look at the game for those who haven't had the chance to play it yet. We will be doing some gameplay videos of this in the future. I've been thinking about some ideas for sort of challenge runs, which is generally the sort of content that I am interested in making, so do keep an eye out for that if that's something you'd like to see. Now, as far as gameplay and world are concerned, first of all, there have been a whole bunch of new voice lines added to make the Argonians and Khajiit sound more different from the original game, as well as to add some variation to voice lines such as to General Imperial Guards and so on. For gameplay, the big change is the leveling system. Now, both minor and major skills contribute to your leveling, and you get 12 quote-unquote virtue points to improve your chosen 3 attributes every time you level up. It's much more streamlined, much more simple. It sort of feels like a marrying between Skyrim and Oblivion. There have been some combat changes as well, notably to archery and stealth. Again, the stealth feels much closer to Skyrim's system, so potentially the all-time fan favourite stealth archer can be properly played in Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion. Wonderful. A big point to remember though when talking about all of this stuff is that this game is a remaster. It's not a remake. Under the hood, it's still the creation engine. A vast majority of Oblivion systems have been carried over. As far as I can tell, all of the quests and content is pretty much all the same. I spent most of my first stream completing the arena quest, and then we took on about most of the main quest, and also poked our heads into Shivering Isles, because of course we had to go see Sheogorath.
You, a new arrival.
Oh, there we go, that fixes the lighting.
My gatekeeper. I'm so happy I could just tear out your intestines and strangle you with them. I suppose an introduction is in order. I'm Sheogorath, Prince of Madness. And other things. I'm not talking about them.
Given that we are in the Shivering Isles, now seems like the perfect time to talk about the DLC situation. So, everything packaged with the original Game of the Year edition of Oblivion comes with the quote-unquote base game of the remaster. Shivering Isles, Knights of the Nine, of course, Horse Armor, and the various other DLCs, Mehrunes Razor, Spell Tomes, the Houses. Those are all in the default version. What you get for the deluxe edition is the extra random stuff that they've decided to make. I think there's some armor sets. I heard rumblings that they have quests attached, I'm not sure. And of course, even more horse armor. So if you're wanting to get the full original Oblivion experience, you can just get the main edition. You can get all of the DLCs from the original, you can enter the Shivering Isles, become Paladin Whitestrake, blah 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 blah. And it's on Game Pass. Currently I have it on Game Pass. At some point in the future I will probably get the full game for myself. But if you just want to try it, I thoroughly recommend just get Game Pass for a month, give it a shot, see how you like it. I personally think it's well worth the money for a month to get to play this for what's like $15 in my part of the world. So if you're not sure, definitely, if you can, get it on Game Pass, have a look, see how it goes, and go from there. The next obvious question, of course, is there going to be more DLCs, and what does this mean for the future of Elder Scrolls? As far as this game getting DLCs, I'm not sure. I don't know what other content they'd be looking to expand on, especially from a lore perspective. They can't really add too much without having issues with Skyrim's lore, although, of course, ESO didn't really care about that. As far as the future of other games is concerned, this is an interesting point of discussion. There are a lot of people in my chat talking about Morrowind. Are we going to get a Morrowind remaster? From here on out, we are, of course, just talking subjectively. I have no real information on any of this. I wouldn't really want Morrowind, especially not as the priority. Ideally, I think a game like Redguard or even Arena would be well in need of an upgrade. However, with looking at any of the games pre-Oblivion, I have a feeling that they would be a remake rather than a remaster. I don't think putting a new coat of paint on Morrowind will work very well. It probably won't be that appealing to people who haven't played it before, and to the people who have, it just wouldn't feel right. I'm not sure if there will be a remaster of Skyrim. We all know the running joke at this point. But given that Skyrim is still relatively recent and has aged a lot better than original Oblivion, I don't feel that there's a need for it. But only time will tell. If some of the leaks that we've seen are true, Fallout 3 is next on the chopping block, and a New Vegas remaster could certainly be interesting if that's something that Bethesda are looking towards. One last point I want to make about this is my personal tinfoil hat theory. You see, Todd Howard loves his dates. We all know that Skyrim infamously came out on 11/11/11, which may have potentially led to parts of the game being rushed. However, Oblivion's 20th anniversary is next year. It does seem a little strange that they wouldn't just wait until then to release this. Could it perhaps be that they have something else to release? Maybe another Elder Scrolls game with a 6 in the title? Probably not. Probably not. I think we might be playing Elder Scrolls 6 when I'm in the retirement home if we're lucky.
I have seen the gates of Oblivion, beyond which no waking.
At the end of the day, I would consider this remaster a roaring success, with its stunning graphics, streamlined gameplay, and much needed improvements to old systems. It does an impressive job of staying true to the original while modernizing and building upon the work that was done nearly 20 years ago. There are a couple of issues I have that we've discussed. I didn't actually mention, but I did have a slight bug when opening menus. Those will hopefully be patched in the near future. And obviously the demand that it puts on your PC is a little disappointing, but it's not entirely surprising given the scale and the detail of the game. Obviously it sucks for those who can't play it, but for it to look as good as it does, I think that is unfortunately a requirement. Someone who knows more than me about game design and how PCs work is welcome to correct me in the comments. But despite all of that, ultimately this game is no mere nostalgia bait cash grab that some were worried about it being, but it truly feels like a love letter to Elder Scrolls, Cyrodiil, and above all, us, the fans. I mean, what else can I say? It just works. Thank you for watching. Again, if you would like to catch me live, my links are down below in the description. There will be more Elder Scrolls content available on the channel to those who have watched this channel previously. Apologies for the large delay between videos. I've had some stuff going on with my house in real life and a couple of other things come up. But I do have some massive projects underway, including a Skyrim video that I'm projecting will be about 2.5 hours long. So keep an eye out for all of that, and of course I will be getting my teeth properly into Oblivion Remastered in the coming weeks and months. I hope you have a lovely morning, afternoon, evening or night, wherever in the world you may be, and I'll see you around the internet. Peace out.